Well, energy efficiency has certainly become a buzzword and a tremendous economic growth area in the past decade. One Arkansas company is hoping to make its customers use less of its energy product. Yes, you heard me right. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas wants to give one of its customers a $50,000 energy efficiency home makeover. Joining me to discuss the highly visible and successful program is Doug White, Vice President of System Services at the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Doug, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Roby.
Let's talk about the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas's Energy Efficiency Makeover Contest. Kind of give me the details on what you guys are doing. I think this is about the second year in a row that you've done it.
This is our third year. This is really a neat program, and I have to give our CEO, Gary Vogt, kudos for coming up with the idea. It's basically kind of our version of the ugliest truck contest, except in this case we're rewarding an inefficient home on one of the cooperative's lines with a complete home makeover. $50,000 of expenditures. We're going to completely transform a leaking, energy inefficient home to something that's state-of-the-art.
Yeah, well, tell me some details on what some of those home improvements might be based on what you've done in the past.
Well, if it's any indication, if it's like it was 2 years ago, which we suspect it will, most homes that would qualify for this are going to be 20, 30, 40 years old. They're going to have very little, if any, insulation, either in the attics or in the walls. They're going to have a very inefficient heating and cooling system. Their appliances are going to probably be old. They're going to be using traditional lighting. They're probably not going to have a lot of caulking or sealing around the windows or the doors. So all of those things, we're going to take a negative and turn those into a positive. So we're going to bring in a new heating and cooling system, typically geothermal or high efficiency air source heat pump. We're going to exchange the windows with low E, energy efficient windows. We're going to give them the state-of-the-art water heater, which is a huge energy consumer in most homes. We're going to transform the lighting to LED or CFL lights. We're going to tighten up the home. We're going to blow insulation, either foam or cellulose, in the attics and in the walls. And these homes are going to go from $200 and $300 and $400 a month electric bills to $40, $50, $60.
Now, the $50,000 that you're going to put towards this home makeover, all of those things that you just outlined, is $50,000 going to cover all of that?
It does, remarkably. Now, we know that most people, we're going to make one person really, really happy, and then we're going to have probably 4,000 or 5,000 folks that are going to say, well, I didn't win. But hopefully they're going to go online, they're going to check our website, they're going to be more educated about energy efficiency. And there's just little things that they can do that don't cost a lot. Now, in our case, the big ticket items are going to be the heating and cooling system. A typical 2,000 square foot home, you're talking about $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. But the rest of the items, the windows, the lights, the appliances, will fall well below that $50,000 figure.
Doug, let's talk a little bit about energy efficiency in general. It's been around for 30 years or more. I mean, at least since the Nixon administration, we've been talking about reducing our dependence on foreign oil, making America more energy independent. Why do you think that in the last 5 to 7 years we've seen an even kind of a bigger resurgence in energy conservation talk?
I remember you talked about the Nixon years. I remember the Carter years with the little stickers below the lights, turn off your lights, keep your thermostat up, wear a sweater, I believe. You're right, it's been around forever, and it's just now kind of becoming the subject to talk about. I think there's a lot of factors. I think environmental awareness is up. Our youth, our kids are much more aware of what's happening to the planet, which is a good thing. I think there's also the issue of cost. It is extremely expensive to build new power plants right now. And not to mention, what kind of fuel choice do you use? Is it nuclear? Is it gas? Is it coal? Is it none of the above? Any choice you make is going to be extremely expensive. So there's this concept that's kind of become fashionable among the utility industry called using energy efficiency as the first fuel. Meaning, before we start thinking about future generation, let's look at energy efficiency as the first choice. And I think it's a smart one.
And that's basically because the baseload capacity is tightening. Arkansas has seen population growth. The southwest region of the U.S. that we're in, that's seen population growth. It's becoming increasingly difficult to provide energy and electricity to the growing population, right?
There is no doubt about that. We've got, in fact, for the cooperatives, our load, we serve about 35% of the electric load in the state. We've got the little old lady at the end of the line that doesn't use a whole lot of electricity, but we also serve the two largest loads in the state, Nucor and Nucor-Yamada Steel Companies in Mississippi County. we're growing. Our growth rate, even despite the economic downturn, is 2, 3, 4% a year, which is twice as much as the industry. So we are really seriously looking at a glut in terms of baseload capacity and just kilowatts to supply electricity on that hot day when everybody wants to turn on their air conditioners or wash their dishes, or if a business and industry wants to operate. It's getting tough, so we're at crunch time right now in terms of what we do. And the thing is, we build a power plant to last for 40, 50, 60 years. So these decisions that we make have long-term repercussions, so we want to make sure we do it right.
Now, the Public Service Commission has a docket open right now studying renewable energy, studying energy efficiency. I know you're staying on top of that. Can you kind of give me an update of what you guys have been doing in terms of contributing to that information that the PSC is seeking?
Absolutely. Renewables is a huge issue. There's discussion among states and even at the federal level of having a renewable portfolio standard where a minimum percentage of your capacity would come from renewable resources. We're not sure whether we agree with the mandate because we've already made significant investments in renewables. We've got 3 run-of-the-river hydropower units, as you're aware of, Roby, that were built back in the 80s that are supplying clean, green electricity. We like to say we were green before it was cool to be green, but we've invested over $300 million in renewable hydropower resources. As for the potential in the state, it's a great state. We both love Arkansas and all that it has to offer, but we're just not the greatest source for, say, solar or wind. The real promise in the studies that we've done as it relates to renewables is in the area of biomass. Wood, cellulosic material, poultry has a potential as well. So we're really studying that hard, and there's a lot of money being spent on research in terms of how you can make an efficient use of those products to make renewable electricity work here in Arkansas.
All right, he is Doug White with the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Check out their Energy Efficiency Makeover contest and stay tuned for more news on the energy front from them. Doug, thanks as always.
Always, Roby. Thank you.